morning, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Tonight we're going to have fun because we're going to shake it up a little bit, and I'm going to be making a shaker card. And if you're newer to shaker cards, make sure you grab a pen and a piece of paper because I've got a few tips that you're going to want to write down so you don't forget to do them when you're making a shaker card. These are good tips, and they came, it was baptism by fire for me. These came about through trial and error, so hopefully they'll help you and you'll have lots of success. Now, before we get started with today's project, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hello. From
How are you doing?
I'm doing better than horrible. Much better than horrible. That's my shaker.
Is that your shaker? You were busy today.
Was I? Oh, yeah. I was at that.
Tom did a lot of yard work today.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Yard.
And he harvested all of our potatoes.
Yeah.
We grew potatoes in containers and in big containers, and he sent me pictures of all of our potato harvest. So
we didn't get a picture ready for that.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah, but it was yes, a very, very. I have scratches all over my legs from going through the bushes and and doing things. So yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. And in your travels, while you were having this fruitful day of harvesting, did you happen to think of a word of the day for later?
I have a word of the day for later.
Yay! Okay, that's always so much fun. All right, well, I know that a lot of our friends want to watch the debate tonight, and I totally understand that. So we're going to keep our video tonight, our live, to about an hour. And, potato soup. I just saw that comment. Yes, yes, yes. But we're going to get started right away on tonight's project. So we're going to make a little shaker card. And if you remember back when Master Layouts 16 debuted, and this is Master Layout 16. Let me zoom out a little bit because I'm really close. Our friend Kathy Zilski used the fishbowl as a snow globe. And she was thinking just so creatively outside of the box, and we are going to do that tonight. So for those of you this summer, or the last summer, who purchased Master Layout 16, we're not done with it, because we're not only going to use this as a snow globe, but we're going to use these edger dies as snow hills. So we're going to have some fun with this tonight. Now I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock here, and I've got a couple of colors here to make a sunset. I'm going to be using some blue denim ink, a little bit of medium lilac, I think I'm going to use medium lilac. I may use wild lilac. There's a big, let me grab that. There is a big difference in the type of purple. You can see this is a more blue purple. This is a more red purple. I think I might use this one instead, because I think that's going to blend a little bit better with our bubblegum here. Blue denim, wild lilac, bubblegum, and then we're going to go into some sweet mango. So let's start with the sweet mango, and we're going to do a little bit of a sunset sky. So I'm going to start with my orange blending brush and some of this sweet mango ink. It doesn't matter which side of the cardstock you use. But I'm going to start here, and I'm going to create this little bit of a sunset. So we want this to be nice and bright down here, but we want to go up a little bit high because we're going to be using this die. Let me get the dies out too.
I love Swango.
You love Swango? Sweet mango, Swango? All right, so we're going to use this die from Master Layouts 16. We're going to use these two dies because we're going to cut the snow globe out of this, but then we're going to cut the center out so we can turn it into a shaker. And then we're also going to use this, which is actually the little rim of the fishbowl, but we're going to use that to be the base of our snow globe. Okay, then we're going to use one of these. Let's see which one we should use. I think, gosh, we could use any one of these. I just want to look at them here to see what kind of hill I want to have. Boy, this would be very deep hill. I think I'll use this one here. But you can use any of them to create your snow hills. And if you want to create more than one, you could cut them out of the different ones to create that snow hill. All right, so I'm going to go back to blending this. And the reason why I got that dye out is because I want to make sure that I can see the orange when I cut this out. You know, if I only, ink blended a little bit, once you put the snow hills in there, you're not going to see that sunset. So I want to make sure I have enough of that orange, and I think I do. So now I'm going to switch to my next color, which is going to be Bubblegum Pink. And I have a brush here that has a little leftover pink on it, but I think it's going to work just fine. And welcome, everyone. It is great to see all of you popping in this evening. We're so glad to have you here. We hope that you enjoy this evening. I'm wondering why I can't see, and it's because my glasses are sitting here instead of having them on my face where they belong. So I don't know if anybody saw, I posted a picture on my personal Facebook page, and I know not everybody sees my personal posts, but I posted a picture. Tom and I went to a place called Door County, Wisconsin this weekend. We did a little getaway, just the two of us. And we went up to Door County, and I caught a beautiful sunset over Lake Michigan. And what's really cool is in Wisconsin, you usually don't get to see the sunset over Lake Michigan. So in Door County, because it's a peninsula and there's two sides of it, depending on which side you are, you actually do get to see the sunset like you're actually in Michigan.
Over Green Bay, actually.
Over Green Bay. But it's still, that all is part of the Lake Michigan. It all goes out to the lake, right?
Okay.
So it's very cool. All right. Now I'm going to use some of this wild lilac. Get some of that going across there. And then we'll finish it up with some of that blue denim. Once we get this all done, it's gonna look better than it looks right now. Right now it looks better than horrible, but it's gonna look a lot better than it looks right now. And blue denim. All right, now I need a blue brush. Is that blue? Or is that black? That's blue. Okay.
And the apple cider donuts up there.
Oh my goodness. How many of you have apple cider donuts where you are? They are just the best. Love a good apple cider donut. You know, I always get a little sad when fall comes because I am such a summer girl. I love the warm weather, and Tom and I love to bike, and it's always kind of sad that it's getting near the end. But there are so many cool things about fall too. And apple cider donuts and apple pie and cherries, Door County cherries, all of that are definitely a big fun part of fall. Okay, so I've got that little ink blend. No donuts in your little town. Oh no. Boy, if you can ever get them online, apple cider donuts are unbelievable. Okay, now I'm going to cut this out. And I have quite a bit of die cutting to do, so I might do a little bit of it here as I go. All right, so I want to cut this big one here like this. Now, I'm going to deepen up the sky here. But I want to make sure that when I put my white snow hills in here that I'm still going to catch a little bit of that sunset, and I'm going to. So that's going to look pretty good. I think that's all going to work. So let's go ahead and cut this out. And then we're going to deepen up that sky a bit. Oh yeah, all my Midwest friends know about the apple stuff. Well, I'm sure anywhere that it's cold weather, though, you probably have that too. Anywhere that you get cold weather, you probably get all the goodness of the farms in the fall. So I'm just going to put this aside for now. And now I'm going to get another white piece of cardstock and I'm going to cut another one of these. And while I'm cutting this, I'm also going to cut one of these and I'm going to cut my snow hill. Just like that right there.
Got a question from Gina for Gina.
Yes.
Do you ever wet your paper before you blend the ink?
No, I never do. It would kind of catch, I believe, and it would look streaky because our ink is water reactive. So it would be a little bit streaky and it would kind of lighten up in places. So no, I never do that. But if that's something that you do and you have a good tip, please, by all means, share it with us. Now this is going to be my snow hill that's going to end up getting put on here like that. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with this to make it a little bit easier. But let me get these first off of here. Now I'm going to cut a second one of these, and I'm also, because I want to glue these together to thicken it up a little bit, but I'm also going to cut the center out of this one. Now this is the only part that's a little bit tricky. You want to try to make sure that you center it well. And even though I'm using my magnetic mat, I think I'm still going to use a tiny bit of masking magic just to make sure it doesn't shift because I need it to be as centered as possible. So let me see if I have some masking magic over here. I do. So you can see now I've got the outline one, and now I have the inside one here, and that looks pretty even. I think that's gonna look good. So let's cut that out first. And you can save that inside piece for something else if you want. If you want to do some paper piecing later, you can always save that. But now we've created our little shaker rim for outside the card. That's going to have a clear acetate piece on top. Dawn, you know, I did not think of that. Kathy Zilski gets 100% credit for thinking of the snow globe. But once I saw it, then you can't unsee it, right? That was really brilliant of her. I love that she did that. She's so smart. Okay. Dawn asked if I was thinking of a snow globe when I designed this, and I was not. Kudos to Kathy Z.
Question, do you have to lift your cutting mat and B-plate up to make it go through the intercut?
Yeah, sometimes. I just tilt it forward a little bit from the back. Just tilt it forward a little bit. Okay, now we are going to create this little snow hill here. And I want it to fit inside my circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same die and I'm just going to lay it on here. And that's going to make it the perfect size. See what I'm saying there? It's going to make it the perfect size. And then I'm going to stamp a little snowman and he's going to just sit in the middle of the hill. So that's my first little tip for this, is to cut this snow hill out of this kind of half circle. It's not really a half circle, but you guys know what I mean. We'll call it the snow globe. I did get some good news. I just paid all of our VAT tax for the intercut today. That's not good news. That's expensive. But that means that it is going to be sailing into port. Now let's just hope the strike doesn't do anything. But those should be back in stock very soon, the intercuts. And you can see now that's going to fit perfectly on there. Isn't that cute? I love that. Okay, now here's my next tip. Acetate. So you can use any kind of acetate. You can use packaging, old packaging that you have. You can use actual acetate. I like to use these. These are the Decofoil Clear Designer Toner Sheets. They're just clear. What I love about them, let me zoom out a little bit here. What I love about them is that they are heat resistant. So if you're into foiling and you have a laser printer and you wanted to print a design on here, you could, and you can foil with them. But you can also use them as shaker card fronts. Now, one of the things that a lot of people struggle with when they're making shaker cards is static. So here's another shaker card tip for you. If you struggle with static, the absolute best way to get rid of the static is to wash the piece of acetate. Cut it down a little bit so you're ready to use it on your project. Take it to your sink and wash it with some hand soap. Most hand soaps contain just a tiny little bit of oil in them just to soften your hands a little bit. And when you wash your acetate sheet with hand soap before you use it for your shaker card, you don't get the static. So give that a try and see how that works for you. So that's the first thing. The second tip I have for you is cutting the acetate. If you put the acetate down on your die cutting plate and you put your die on top and cut it, it's gonna bend the acetate. It'll put a nice crease in there so you'll know where to cut it with a pair of scissors, but it's very hard to get it to cut through. However, if you put it on top of a piece of lightweight cardstock or even a piece of paper of some sort, and then you lay your die on top, then it will cut through the acetate. So that's your next tip right there. Aw, thanks guys. Hi Jennifer. How are you? Jennifer and I are just planning our next tag team video. I think we have a date. That's gonna be fun. So now that that's cut, you can see it there. There we go. It did cut through. I just have to pull it out. I can tighten my die cutting machine for this too. There we go. I'll just trim that. I don't want to struggle too much. Just tighten up your intercut a little bit. There we go. So that was a lot easier. Before, I was doing it without putting that piece of paper underneath, and I was really struggling to get it cut out. Now I'm going to trim this just a little bit smaller though, but this gives me a good guide. It's, you know, I always worry about stuff sticking out outside of my shaker. So sometimes I like to trim it a little bit smaller. This isn't so bad though. Maybe I'll just use it that way. But that's good. Okay, let me think of anything else I need to cut. Oh, I am going to have to cut 2 more things, but I have to do some stamping first. 3 more things. So we'll do our stamping and then we'll bring the intercut back. Let me put this over here on the floor. Okay, so we've got our die cut pieces for our shaker. And I'm just going to put those all aside. And now we're going to go to the next part of this card. So I'm going to take this little piece of white cardstock and I'm going to get my Misty.
Do we have a date for the next release yet?
October 15th. We're very excited too. And I'm going to stamp this little guy right here. So we're going to put a little snowman in the snow globe. And he's the perfect size.
So what number do you think you'd use for the acetate cut?
I would probably just dial it up to about 1 o'clock. Just get it a little tighter. I always keep it at 0 right in the center, because it helps prevent warping of your plates. You don't need it too tight for most things, but you could just go up maybe to 1 o'clock. If that doesn't work, go to 2 o'clock. Okay. But then remember to put it back at 0 again, like right at high noon. Oh, look how cute he is. I think that's pretty cute. I'm going to leave him just like that. Now, I do want to cut a greeting. And I'm going to kind of go against what I always do. My greetings I always do in black. I don't know why, but I always like my greetings to be in black. But I think for this one, I'm going to use Tranquil Teal. I'm going to use a Tranquil Teal card base on this card, and so I think Tranquil Teal for the greeting is just going to look really pretty. So let's do Winter Wishes for this card, especially because it's such a wintry card. And what's fun about this is it could be used for anything then. We're not kind of subject to making it a holiday card. It could just be winter wishes for your birthday. It could be just winter wishes thinking of you in the winter. So, but we're going to do this with Tranquil Teal. And I'm going to stamp this twice because I want to get it a little bit darker. And I don't want to squish it. So I'll stamp it a couple of times here. You were wondering where my teal was? Oh, the teal's coming. You know I got to do more teal on this card, right? I think I'll stamp it one more time. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I like the softness of that teal as opposed to black tonight, just tonight. All right, now we've got those images stamped, and we're going to die cut those. And then I'm going to die cut one Master Layouts 2 panel. And we're going to have a little bit of fun creating a background for this card too. So let's put this away. And back with the intricate. So, yeah, live video, you never know what's going to happen. But, you know, I'm going to trim this down. I don't need all this hanging. I wish I could do that with a lot of other things that are hanging. I did not say that. Okay, we're going to just put that... All right. Let's just cut one at a time here, just to be on the safe side. Oh, hello, everybody. Hi, Lila. How are you? I heard that you were crafting this weekend at the SCT class that your mom and I taught at. I hope you had a good time. Okay, so I am going to die cut this Winter Wishes. And the Winter Wishes comes from the Holiday Floral set. Now, both of these stamp sets are on order, and they should be coming in soon. We'll definitely have them in time for our next release. That's for sure. You know, we try so hard to gauge how many kits people want and how many... I really need a crystal ball because it is not an easy thing to gauge. You know, if I ordered too many kits, people wouldn't want them, but if I don't order enough, then everybody wants them. So it's really hard to gauge, but we really did our best on the last release, and we did sell out rather quickly. But these will all be back in stock a la carte, so you'll be able to pick and choose exactly what you want. Okay, so I've got the Winter Wishes cut out. And let's see, I gotta cut that one Master Layouts panel. So let me just pick these off. These get stuck in there sometimes in the mat. Okay, put that back on there. And do I have any more white cardstock? Did I really go through all of that white cardstock that I cut? I'll tell you, white cardstock is afraid to be in my craft room because it doesn't last very long. I always think that like trees are afraid to grow around paper crafters' homes because they see all the paper and they're just like, yikes. All right, so we've used Master Layouts 16. Now we're going to use Master Layouts 2. And if you're new to Gina K Designs, these Master Layout sets mix and match, so you can do a lot of really neat things by blending the different Master Layout sets together. They create some really neat layouts for your cards. So they're like little roadmaps, and they just give you an idea of how you can put together a card, and if you look at any of my videos, I always tell you which master layout sets I used in each video, so that will help you determine, you know, how that you can get that same look using these panels. So this, I don't know if you could see it, but it's got that little stitched edge. So we have that panel. Now with the coordinating die, which is the plain die, we're going to cut a black panel. And that's going to give us that nice little shadow layer that I love going around the outside. Now I thought about using the teal here and then using a white card base, but I think this is going to just look really pretty with the, I got something under my 1 foot here of my die cutting machine, and it's sliding around. It's going to look really pretty with that teal card base.
It's a Lego.
It's a Lego. They always get underfoot, don't they? I see so many crafters now buying Lego sets and doing Lego things. Tom, you did a Lego set this last winter, didn't you? It was like a band.
I did.
It was so fun.
Jazz quartet.
Yeah, Brian gave you that for Christmas. That was so fun. Okay, so now we are going to use some masking magic for this panel. And I'm going to use the 1/4 inch masking magic strips. So masking magic comes in 3 different sizes in the pack: 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to create a border around the outside of this by just putting these 1/4 inch masking magic strips right along the edge. And what's nice about these, I didn't nail that very well though. What's nice about these is they don't tear the paper. You know, you can reuse them if you want, at least a couple times, as long as you use the same color. And you can do so many fun techniques with these. I've got all kinds of video techniques using masking magic and masking magic strips. Very low tack tape.
So question.
Yeah.
From Debbie, Gina, you always cut your sentiments spot on. I always cut mine unevenly. Is it... I lost her.
Okay, so I'll give you a couple of tips for that. First of all, a lot of times I cut mine uneven when I'm die cutting sitting down, because the die looks like it's straight, but you're actually looking at it from an angle like this, and you tend to either put it up too high or too low. So if you can stand up and get your head right over it, you're going to get it a little bit straighter. The other thing is, I've got a video called, it's a little short reel called 2 Ways to Get Perfectly Centered Die Cuts. And I will link that video later to this video. So when you go back, give me a little bit, just a little bit of time, and look in the description again, and I will link that little reel so you can watch it. It's a 60-second reel, and it'll show you exactly how to prevent that from happening. Okay? All right, so now we're going to create a little border here, and I'm going to use some sea glass ink for this. So let's get the sea glass here. Now I know I have a little Tranquil Teal on here. I'm just going to rub some of that off. But standing up really makes a big difference because it actually looks straight when you're sitting down, but it's not. It's not centered when you're sitting down because you are looking at it kind of on an angle. So hopefully that'll help right off the bat. Now I'm just going around the perimeter here, getting it a little bit heavy around the edge. And then I'm going to work my way toward the center because I don't want it to be completely covered, but I do want more of it covered. That's going to look pretty good, I think. Okay. We want this card to just look frosty and cool. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my snowy background. And this just came back in stock. I know a lot of you got it over the weekend because it just came back in stock right before the weekend. And now I'm going to do something weird here. I'm going to find my scissors, and I'm just going to cut this whole thing down, but I'm going to still leave a lot of it stuck to this piece of background paper.
Question, is there a master layout set for A6 cards?
There is. Our brand new one, Master Layout 17, works for A6 cards. You can check that out on our website at ginakdesigns.com. Okay, so now let's take this snowy background, and I'm just going to lay it here on its back. And then I'm going to use some light lilac ink. This is a very light color, but it works really well for this look, and it gives it just a nice amount of texture. So I really want to make sure I've got a little something there. Really want to make sure I get it well inked because I get one shot at this. And this is the way I like to use my background stamps. I'm not a big fan of putting them in the MISTI and trying to get pressure on them. I would rather do it this way. I find that it's just easier for me. I'm going to take this card and I'm going to turn it upside down here right onto this background stamp.
Is it 16 or 17?
17. And then I'm going to just use that little sheet here just to rub my hands all over it to make contact. Okay. I think that should do it. And now I've got that nice little snowy pattern in the background. I love that color up against that sea glass. I think that's so pretty together. And now we can remove these Masking Magic strips, and we've got a nice little border for our snow globe. Isn't that pretty? And the snow doesn't go outside of that border. Masking Magic comes in 5x7 sheets, so you can cut it down to an A2. And then the strips are available already pre-cut for you. So that's two ways that you can use it. Two different ways that you can get it. All right, and then this panel is going to go right on top of this black panel. So we'll put that together and we'll get it out of the way. Okay. Yeah, I like the background too. I think it's really pretty. This snowy background just looks like paint splatter or spatter, however you want to say it. But I like that because I'm not real good at that, and this just makes me look like I am.
And the name of that background stamp again?
It's called Snowy.
So does making cards get you into the holiday spirit earlier?
It does. It definitely does. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to get this panel again, this little piece that I made, and I'm going to get my embossing magic. Lots of magic around here tonight. And I'm going to tap that all over this. And then I am going to clean this real quick. Then I'm going to use some Embossing and Watermark ink. You can also use a white pigment ink pad if you want. But I'm just going to add a little Embossing and Watermark ink. If you want, you can use Versamark ink for this too. There's lots of different watermark ink pads out there on the market, and they all do something similar. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to just lay it down right on top. And I'm just going to pat it a little bit. I'm not super worried about like getting a great impression. I just want to have a little bit of texture on there. Okay. And then I'm going to use some white embossing powder to create a little bit of snow on this background. See, just a tiny bit. Not much, just a little. And I'm going to hold it with this. I'm not actually. I'm going to hold it with a clothespin because I took that class in high school and metal conducts heat, but wood does not. Right, Tom? I think that's the way it went. So the wooden clothespin is a little safer.
Unless it's on fire.
Unless it's on fire, right, yeah. The campfire does. And I'm just going to go ahead and emboss this just to give myself a little bit of snow in the background there. Oh my goodness, one of my hairs is blowing.
Request to zoom in for a little closer view.
Okay.
On the snow.
Okay, I will. Let me get rid of this. I have a hair in there. Okay, now I can hold it. I think that's all done. Feels pretty done. All right, let me zoom in so you can see. There we go. How's that? Is that better? Let's just really make sure that that's completely cooked too.
Kind of brings to mind the Charlie Brown Christmas.
Right? Oh, we have a stamp set called A Very Silly Christmas that Rena designed, and it's got a little Charlie Brown tree. That would be really cute for a shaker card too. All right, enough with the embossing. My pleasure. I'm glad that you can see it better.
Use pine needles in it.
Yeah, the pine needles cling, cling, cling. All right, now we are going to do a little assembling here. So this is going to be in the background, and now we can attach the snow. So we can do that with tape because that's big. I think that looks pretty good. We've got the snow there. And now we do have to color our little snowman. So we might as well do that first because then he's going to go sit in there in the shaker card. So I'm going to color him with some colored pencils. And I'm going to use, I've got a little scrap here. I'm going to use this one because that's going to look good with Tranquil Teal. This is called Cobalt Turquoise. And I'm going to color in his hat with this Cobalt Turquoise. I think that's going to look pretty good. And then I'm going to color every other little scarf piece. Just a tiny little dot of turquoise. And then the opposite ones, I know this is really close. Hopefully it's not too close for everybody. I think it's good. The opposite ones I'm going to color in purple. Just to play off of that sunset a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to be using Gamsol, and I've got my Gamsol here, a little cup of it. I'm going to refresh it and just add a little bit more of the Gamsol liquid. Gamsol is an odorless mineral spirits, and if you don't have Gamsol where you are, you can use something like lavender spike oil, zest it, or check at your local art store and see if they have a blending medium that would work. And I'm just cleaning off this blending stump with this is like sandpaper on here. You can use a nail file too for that. I just wanted to sharpen it and get rid of the black that was on there. Now I'm just dipping my blending stump right into my Gamsol. And these blending stumps we carry on our website. They're really good. And I'm going to just kind of with a circular motion, just pull that color out and make it get a little lighter as I get near the top, like that. I'm going to do the same down here. That's a great color. Okay. And now I'm going to do the same thing over here, just kind of blending those out. And then I'm going to add some purple. And I've got a couple purple options here, but I think I'm going to go with the deepest one that I have, which is this one right here. This is called Violet. I think that's going to be a good purple. So I'm just going to do the opposite.
Another request to zoom in.
Zoom in more? You must be watching on a phone, because I'm pretty close. I'll try zooming in a little bit more. Okay. I just don't want to get blurry. Sometimes if you over zoom, is that better? Hopefully you could see that. I'm just adding that little purple down the sides.
And what paper do you use for the blending, color blending, the layering?
I always use the Gina K Designs layering weight white when I do Gamsol blending. You can also use our heavy base weight white, but our it's so super smooth that it just makes the blending look so good. I'm just coloring that purple in there. Gamsol just makes you look good. Okay, then I'm going to do a tiny little orange. This is just called orange on his nose. And I'm not even going to blend that. That's good enough. And then I've got a Copic marker here. So I want to see. I have N3. That's too dark. I have N1 over here. That's pretty good. And all I'm going to do is just add a little shadow, kind of like right under his hat. And then kind of under his scarf, like that. Maybe I'll go like down his side here. Maybe even under his belly a little bit, just to create a little shadow there. Okay, so he looks pretty good. Now I think my next step is going to be to assemble this shaker. So let's first do these two together, and I'm going to use Connect glue for this. So let me get I have one right here, but I want to take this thing off.
Question, can I use any colored pencils with Gamsol, and which is the best, soft core or hard core?
So I like a softer pencil with Gamsol. They do make, like Prismacolor makes like a Scholar pencil that's very hard. I like the Premier pencils the best. I think that they work the best. You can use any colored pencil that's wax-based. If you have watercolor pencils, it's kind of a waste because water kind of does the same thing with watercolor pencils that Gamsol does. It does look a little different, but it really isn't worth having Gamsol if you're going to use watercolor. So that's what I would recommend. I would recommend a softer core pencil and definitely a wax-based pencil. Okay. Oh, his hat band? You don't want me to leave that white? Should I do it a different color? I was thinking of leaving it white, just to have it like pop a little bit. Maybe I should do it purple. I'll do it purple just to match. I'll just color it in a straight purple there. Okay, that looks better. I agree. Okay. Now I'm just going to use my my Connect glue here, and I'm just going to put it all around the perimeter of this little snow globe outline that we made.
Kim wants to know, what is the Artist Choice paper used for?
So Artist Choice is for our artists out there that don't like to use Gamsol, and they're looking for a white cardstock that has just a little bit more of a tooth that will pull the pencil a little bit more and allow people to blend without using Gamsol. It's a great cardstock. Very similar to like a Nina Solar White. Not quite as smooth as Gina K, but still a smooth cardstock, but that little bit of extra tooth. Okay, so now I'm going to put this shaker front on here, or this acetate on here, and then I'm going to hold it in the center. I'm going to work my way out, pushing the glue toward the edge, not pushing the glue toward the acetate in the center, just to get it to go down. And if you're looking for something to secure it, let's go ahead and use an acrylic block as a paperweight, and that'll just kind of hold it down. Okay, now I'm going to be using shaker strips. Now, if you don't have shaker strips, I have to zoom out a little bit because I'm going to be flapping my hands all around here. So let me just zoom out a little. There we go. I really like these shaker strips, and I'll tell you why. You get a nice smooth edge. So when you're looking at the card from different angles, it's not a whole bunch of little foam squares going around. However, if you don't have that, you can use the foam squares. I'm just trimming off the little bit of acetate that's sticking over the edge where I didn't perfectly center it. Just being careful. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pop this guy up in here with a couple of little foam squares. So put one there and one there, and we're going to pop him up. Now, the good thing about our foam squares is they are half the thickness, I'll show you in a second, of our shaker strips. So you can have a little popped up feature inside your shaker card without, without worrying about it not being able to move, because this is going to go on top here. But if you look at the foam squares here, see how thin they are compared to the shaker strips? So the shaker strips are going to pull that shaker card front up further, and then you can pop up elements, so it's a little bit more three-dimensional. Could you spray the acetate with white ink to make snow? You could, yeah, definitely. Just you probably would want to use like some kind of archival ink to allow it to just, stay, because dye-based ink is not going to stick to acetate. You could actually stamp on the front of this too if you wanted with like Versamark, and then you could emboss on this acetate because this is heat-resistant acetate. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is I am going to cut one of these shaker strips in half. Now I know that seems really skinny, but you kind of need it here because this is a very thin little little frame. So I'm just cutting one of those off. Oop. No, let go, let go. Okay. So I'm going to take off the sticky here on both sides. Okay. And I'm going to start over here. I'm going to lay the sticky down right here. Am I still on screen? Yeah. And I'm going to curve this as I go around.
Well, you want to put the phone on airplane mode while you do this?
Right? There you go. Okay, so the top is going to look super smooth, and that's what I like about these shaker strips, is that just makes it look super smooth, and by cutting it in half, it makes it even more flexible. Okay, now I've got that other half over here, and I'm going to use that. This is super skinny. It's hard to even know which is the sticky part. You won't really see this too much, so I'm not too worried about it down here. And then I'm going to get my scissors in here and cut it right there. And get that touching. As long as it's touching, it's fine. just so nothing escapes. Okay, so now I've got my shaker going right around, and that's going to allow me to pop that on top. Okay, now I am going to very carefully trim a tiny bit. And when I say a tiny bit, I mean a real tiny bit, like that much off all the way around. I know that sounds scary, but you can do it. You don't have to do it. I'm just not quite as good at lining this up, and it's super sticky. So if I trim just a tiny bit off, you don't have to do this part, so don't worry. You don't have to. If it makes you nervous, don't do it. But I feel a little safer by taking that off, that I'm going to be able to line this up a little bit better. And I still have a little bit of this clear over here that I got to get rid of. Okay, now we're going to put some shaker fill in here. And I'm going to use these clear, the micro disco ball and regular disco ball sequins. Do I have any new ones anywhere? A new pack? Because I really have a mess with my regular. Here we go. Here's some. We'll just put some of these in. Yeah, I love popping up inside. It's so cute. Now you can glue a few down onto the back if you want before you add the shaker fill so that there's always some showing. But I think this is going to be okay. You don't have to do that. And sometimes that glue gets sticky and then, you know, other things stick to it. So this is going to be okay. I think we're going to have enough shaker fill here. Now my last little tip is going to be, let me move these out of the way. My last little shaker card tip is going to be to get a paintbrush. Just a little paintbrush, any paintbrush. And then dab some of your embossing magic pad onto your work surface and pick it up with the paintbrush. And then go inside and just paint some of that on to the inside of your shaker strip. It makes it just a little less sticky. And hopefully you won't get sequins that just get hung up in there. But try not to get it on the outside because we actually need that to stick. All right. I know everybody wants the word of the day. Okay. I'm just blowing away anything that got on the shaker window. Now, if you got anything on your shaker window, you can always get your little Swiffer duster that you use for foiling, and you can kind of pick up the dust on the window with that. And now we're just going to lay this right on top and try to make it even. And that should do it. See, nothing's sticking. We've got rid of all of our static because I washed my shaker window beforehand. It's not really sticking to the sides anywhere because we used that little bit of embossing magic. And then yet you still have cute little shaker bits in there. Okay. I got one stuck on my, I probably had a little tape on the outside of that, but that's all right. That's tiny. Okay, Tom, so while I'm assembling the rest of this, I know everybody is waiting for your word of the day, which is why a lot of people come.
Okay, for today's word of the day,
I'm ready. Lay it on me.
I'm going to see if you guys can guess what it is.
Okay.
I'll give you 2 hints. Not 1, 2
Okay.
hints. Are
Okay.
you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here are the 2 hints together.
Okay.
Okay. And here they are.
I recognize the shoe on the right.
Those of you with puppies should get this. Okay, the word of the day. What do you think?
Yep. Go ahead. We're ready. We want to.
Word of the day. It is, of course, shoelaces. Shoelaces. Yay! Let's see them again. Shoelaces.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect. That's such a cute word of the day. I love it.
And I'm going back to the dead space.
Very good. That's a great word. Okay, so now I have my card on my Tranquil Teal card base, and then my shaker is going to go down here, and we're going to pop this up too with a little bit of, we'll do it with a little piece of this strip, these shaker strips. And then we're going to pop up the Winter Wishes up here on the top. So we'll have Winter Wishes here. We're going to pop everything up. And that will complete our little shaker. Okay, so I'm leaving this here because I want to make sure that I know where my words go. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some tape back here. And we will pop this little element right here. I think that's pretty even. Yep, that's pretty even. Okay. Okay. And then this is going to have a half of a shaker strip because, again, this is kind of thin. So we'll just cut a little bit of one of these shaker strips. That'll work. Let's see here. Yep. That will work. Because I want that to be as popped up as the other. So I'm not using shaker, I'm not using foam squares for this. I'm definitely using the same height of a shaker strip here. And that can go, it can tuck in just underneath. Let's see, maybe it would be better if I did it here like this, and then we'll just tuck it right underneath a little bit. Get it in the right spot. Pretty good. What do you think? Should I go in a little bit more? Let's go in just a... I don't mind that, though. I think that kind of looks graphic and cool. We'll do it like that. I think that looks cool. Okay, and then these are going to get popped up with some foam squares. No, I'm not going to ink the stand. I'm going to leave the stand, but it would be cute if you wanted to ink it, definitely. I like all the ideas. I'm using some of these little half pieces. And one more little half piece up here. Okay. This will be good. But you could even do your snow globe like wood grained, and I think that might be really cute too. Make it look a little more old-fashioned, or you could just do the stand part wood grained, and that would be really cute as well. Okay, and we'll get our Winter Wishes right here. Looks pretty good. And then let's put a few little sequins. Let's see what we have here. I don't know where, I had a whole thing of just regular sequins. I have even like, those are even in my sequins. What a mess. All right, we can use some big sequins too to add extra glitter around. One up here. One over here. We'll like really work our way around this greeting. Tiny one there, and maybe one down there. So yeah, I'm a little symmetrical with my sequins tonight, but I think that's okay. I'll put a big one right there, and then one more big one on this side.
Blingering.
Blinkering, yes. And then we need small ones. We need some small ones too. This is smaller, I think. I've got like all different types in here too. I don't know where my dish of regular ones went. We'll do one there. That's like a medium. And then we'll do a small one up here. We'll do a medium one over there. We'll do a tiny right there, and a tiny there, and a tiny there. Okay, so that gives us some glitter up there as well. And then we'll get all those pretty sequins shaking like snow. And there she is, our finished shaker card. All right, well, yes, I do have an announcement to share. So, but before we do that, Tom, let's give away a gift card, shall we?
Let's shall.
Okay, we're gonna give away a gift card.
Okay, drum roll for the winner of the gift card.
The $15 tonight. Gina K Designs gift card.
Here we go. The winner is Linda Altebrando.
Yay, Linda! Congratulations! All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@ginakdesigns.com and we will get that out to you. So I want to tell you something fun that is happening this weekend, and I hope you will join me. I'm going to be doing 2 fun things on Saturday, and I would love you to be there with me. First, at noon Central Time, I am going to be, let's start with the SCT one because that's going to be the first one, Tom. I'm going to be part of the World Card Making Day event for Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine, and look at that lineup. We have Taylor and Laura, Kim, Carrie, and Shannon, I know it's Shannon. I always say Channing when I see it. Shannon from Hero Arts. We are going to have so much fun. And we're each going to be on for an hour sharing all kinds of fun World Card Making Day inspiration for you. So a lot of inspiration. And I'm going to be sharing some coloring stencils with Polyglaze, one that I haven't really used much in a video yet. So I'm really excited to share this with you. And then after that, at 1:30 Central Time, I am going to be on Craft Roulette. And Craft Roulette is a super fun game show style program. And they are just chock full of different designers that are going to be on that event. So I hope that you will join us for that as well. That's going to be in the afternoon. I'm going to put all the times in our Facebook group. So if you're not a member, check it out. It's Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends on Facebook. We would love to have you join our group. We put lots of announcements in there. And I'll also put it on YouTube on the community tab. So this way you won't miss out on either one of those events on Saturday. World Card Making Day is this Saturday. It is a day that we celebrate card makers, and we're going to be having so much fun. Gina K Designs will be doing some giveaways in our group as well, so head over to our Facebook group and join us because you won't want to miss those. If you see anything you like tonight, make sure you check it out over on our website at ginakdesigns.com. That's where you'll find all of these products. And if anything is out of stock, you can always put yourself on the Notify Me list, and you'll get a notification email as soon as it comes in. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope you had a good time. We sure did. Tom and I will be back on Thursday with another Crafternoon Live. And until then, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.